I'm Abby McHugh-Griffa, Executive Director of the Climate Solutions Accelerator, with a few quick updates for you today. Starting, of course, with an invitation to our upcoming Climate Solutions Summit that will take place over Earth Day weekend. Probably heard about this already because registration has been open for a couple of weeks. But if you're not yet registered, please get registered because there's going to be a lot of good stuff happening over that weekend, including field trips and service projects, workshops to help us build our skills as climate advocates, and most importantly, from my perspective, we're going to be introducing the regional climate action strategy that our Collective Impact Initiative has been working on for a little over a year now. And of course, this is coming together as a result of the work that our steering committee, made up of cross-sector representatives from around the region, and the Stockholm Environment Institute, the consultants we've been working with to identify our primary sources of greenhouse gas emissions and appropriate strategies to reduce emissions from those sources. The work that's been happening with this, all these great minds in a room together, culminating in this regional strategy, which is focused on short-term enablers of long-term progress. So what are those things we can do in the next 3 to 5 years? In fact, not that we can do, that we know we must do in the next 3 to 5 years that will get us where we need to be by 2050, right? In terms of the line with the state's goals. So that's what our strategy is about. It is in draft form right now, and we would love your input on that draft if you're interested and willing. So you're welcome to read through the whole thing. You can provide us with written comment if that's your preferred method. We will also be having a presentation and public input session on April 5th from 6:30 to 8:30 via Zoom. The format of that, we'll have the first half will be a presentation. We won't be able to go into every detail because there's just too many details to cover in a short amount of time. But we'll go over, kind of high level overview of the plan and then open it up for anyone and everyone who wants to say their piece, tell us what we've done well, tell us what's not working for you in that strategy. That will be a great opportunity to say your piece before this becomes a final document. And also, I will mention, for those who don't necessarily want to read through the whole plan, my colleague Brady is also recording a audio version of some pieces of the strategy for those who prefer to listen rather than read. So we really want your input. We're trying to make it as easy as the process can be to weigh in, given that it is a huge, kind of dense document. But I think you'll find that if you read it, there's a lot of good content there, a lot of interesting things, and a lot of important ideas for our region in terms of how we need to be addressing this issue. So, public input session on the 5th, official unveiling of the climate action strategy over Earth Day weekend, and then also, at the same time, New York State is in the process of gathering input on the draft scoping plan that will guide the implementation of the Climate Leadership and Community Protection Act from now until 2050. And this, again, is a hugely, hugely important process. The state's plan is big and dense and a little hard to digest, but we're working on trying to make that easier, in part by having a climate huddle every Thursday at noon for the next several weeks, in which our wonderful volunteers, Alan Blair, Katie Rigg, and Jeremy Grace, will break down the scoping plan into bite-sized chunks. Each week, we're addressing one sector, and they'll give you, within just a half an hour, all you need to commit of your time is a half an hour, quick overview of some of the pros and cons of what's in the plan, template for submitting comments, and then you can go ahead, they'll give you the link right then and there to the site where you can submit your comment. Again, those climate huddles to address the draft scoping plan are happening every Thursday for the next several weeks at noon, and it's only a quick half hour in your life, but a very impactful half an hour. So please make time for that if you can. And I'll just lastly mention that this is so important, not only because climate action is important, what the state's doing is important, but because there's a lot of disinformation that's out there right now about the scoping plan, about the CLCPA. And this is not accidental, right? This is deliberate spread of misinformation and fear-mongering, to be quite frank, to impede the implementation of the CLCPA. So that's why it is extra important that those of us who care about climate action understand why it's important, understand what the the trade-offs are in some of these different places and can add nuanced perspective on the issues. Participate in the process, and it is crunch time for that. So, over the next couple weeks, couple months, please, please, please be engaged and involved in these very important opportunities to move climate action forward, both in our region and our state. Thank you so much. Appreciate your work.